Have you ever heard of this nightmarish tribe? They are described as literal monsters, and it is said they will undoubtedly conquer the world because they will be far greater in number and will emerge from the ground. They are mentioned in the Holy Quran as the Gog and Magog people, who will appear near the events of the Day of Judgment. They will be so numerous that they will drink all the rivers. They are described as real monsters. The first encounter with these people was with the righteous ruler King Dhul-Qarnayn. Dhul-Qarnayn was the strongest king, leading the greatest army of that time. There was no place on earth they hadn't gone. However, when they reached a place that even King Dhul-Qarnayn was astonished by, they encountered this tribe. They barely managed to communicate. The chief of this tribe begged King Dhul-Qarnayn to help them stop the bloodshed caused by these monstrous people who emerged from the earth, destroying everything in their path, as mentioned in the Holy Quran. Dhul-Qarnayn told the chief to gather all the people from the tribe and assist in building a barrier. There are also mentions of the people of Gog and Magog in the Holy Bible. The earliest mention of Gog and Magog is in the Hebrew Bible, specifically in the book of Ezekiel, chapters 38 to 39. Both Christian and Islamic eschatology connect Gog and Magog with apocalyptic events. In the book of Revelation, they are said to rise after 1,000 years of peace, bringing one final battle before the end of the world. So, who are these people? Do they really exist? Gog and Magog are typically imagined as large, barbaric warriors, towering over ordinary people. Their faces are often portrayed as wild and fierce, with eyes that burn with malice. They may be covered in coarse hair with feral expressions, their teeth sharp like a predator's, hinting at their rumored taste for human flesh. The people of Gog and Magog are known for their brutality. They are said to be bloodthirsty marauders who take pleasure in causing chaos and destruction. Legends say they move across the land like a swarm, devouring everything in their path, both resources and people. The tribes have a reputation for cannibalism, said to feast upon those unfortunate enough to be caught by them. Did you know that the story of Gog and Magog, mentioned in the Quran, could have inspired a popular video game franchise? Gears of War, a franchise where the central enemies are the Locust Horde. These creatures are not just regular enemies. They live underground and rise from beneath the surface, unleashing terror on humanity. Their entire invasion feels like a modern-day reinterpretation of the ancient stories of Gog and Magog. In Gears of War, the Locusts are nearly impossible to stop, just like the Gog and Magog of legend, who are prophesied to be numerous and unstoppable. The barriers that kept the Locust underground mirror the idea of Gog and Magog being sealed away, waiting for the moment to rise and cause destruction. The similarity doesn't end there. The Locust Horde is bent on conquering the surface world, much like the prophesied army of Gog and Magog is foretold to overrun the earth in the final days. This connection between ancient prophecy and modern fiction allows us to think about how these stories of monsters, judgment, and destruction continue to inspire our entertainment today. So when will these monsters arrive? Do we know the exact time of their arrival? The appearance of Ya'juj and Ma'juj is described as one of the major signs of the last day. Their emergence will follow a series of prophetic signs, including the coming of the Dajjal, the Antichrist, the descent of Isa, Jesus, from heaven, and a period of peace initiated by Isa's leadership. After this period of peace, it is said that Allah will inspire Ya'juj and Ma'juj to break through the barrier that Dhul-Qarnayn built. The Quran describes this event briefly in Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21, verse 96. Until when the dam of Gog and Magog has been opened, and they from every elevation descend. This verse indicates a sudden and overwhelming invasion by Ya'juj and Ma'juj, spreading chaos and destruction across the earth until they are finally dealt with through divine intervention. The lack of specific temporal details about their appearance emphasizes the Islamic teaching that the exact timing of such events remains within the knowledge of God alone, and humans are encouraged to focus on their personal righteousness and readiness for all eventualities. rather than attempting to pinpoint the timing of end-time events. Where will Ya'juj and Ma'juj come from? The specific geographical origin of Ya'juj and Ma'juj is not clearly defined. However, they are generally believed to come from a northerly direction relative to the inhabited world known to the early Muslim community. The story involving Dhul-Qarnayn in the Quran, who built a massive barrier to contain Ya'juj and Ma'juj, hints at a location between two mountains. These mountains were made of iron and copper, suggesting a region rich in these minerals, but the exact location is not detailed in the scriptures. The description focuses more on the characteristics of Ya'juj and Ma'juj and the threat they pose rather than their exact geographic origin. Some Islamic scholars and historians have speculated about their origin based on the description of the barrier and other historical and geographical clues. These speculations have placed them in various regions, often in Central Asia or the Caucasus, areas historically known for their rugged terrains and strategic significance in ancient military history. Ultimately, the location from which Ya'juj and Ma'juj will emerge remains ambiguous and is often interpreted symbolically in Islamic eschatology as representing a massive and overwhelming force of chaos that will break out from a remote or less known part of the world. The emphasis in Islamic teachings is more on the event's spiritual and moral implications rather than its geographical details. So, are they really monsters like we mentioned before, so we have some evidence? No doubt, Gog and Magog are from among the children of Adam, peace be upon him. In proof of this comes the hadith that is transmitted in the two Sahihs, Bukhari and Muslim, from Al-A'mash, after Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, who narrated the Prophet, peace be upon him, to have said, Allah will say on the day of resurrection, O Adam, Adam will reply, and all the good is in your hand. Allah will say, bring out the people of the fire. Adam will say, O Allah, how many are the people of the fire? Allah will reply, from every 1,000, take out 999. At that time, children will become hoary-headed. Every pregnant female will have a miscarriage, and one will see mankind as drunken. Yet they will not be drunken, but dreadful will be the wrath of Allah. Now let's take a look at the dam that acts as a barrier, preventing these monsters from coming out. What is it? It was mentioned earlier that Dhul-Qarnayn has built it out of iron and copper and elevated it to a very high point that is equal to the very lofty mountains. However, there is no on earth an equal building in terms of loftiness or benefiting to mankind. Imam al-Bukhari transmitted in his Sahih the following hadith saying, a man told the Prophet, peace be upon him, that he had seen the dam of Gog and Magog. The Prophet, peace be upon him, asked, how did you find it? The man said, I found it like al-burd al-muhabbar, stripped garments. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, you have seen it like that. In Ibn Jarir's exegesis of the Quran, a slight different narration was reported by Qatada, who said, I was told that a man said, Allah's messenger, I have seen the dam of Gog and Magog. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, describe it to me. The man said, it looked like stripped garments with red and black stripes. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, you have seen it. Thanks for joining us, space farmers. If you enjoyed diving into these mysteries, whether it's monsters, aliens, or the wonders of space, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, the truth is out there waiting to be uncovered. See you in the next adventure.